Ladies and gentlemen, reaction. This is the biggest mistake a lion can make by the channel Casual Geographics. Yeah, so I guess that's a hippo. So hippos can fuck up a lion. Is that it? Who will win the fight? Cause I'm told that lions are the king. So is it hippos or lions? Where'd that come from? Of all the other, he could have said so tigers or lions, so jaguars or lion, elephants or why hippos? Where did the hippo come from? Alright, this is gonna be fun since it's Casual Geographics, right? The guy basically spews facts basically. And from the facts, it makes puns and jokes which are just priceless. So let's watch it. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more, I guess. Comment down if you want to react to any video or, I don't know, you have some kind of feedback about my reaction. And yeah, let's watch it.
You know what, before I tell you, I'm just gonna show you.
No.
Let me explain every way that lioness f***ed up. The average male murder horse can tip the scales at 3,500 to 5,000 pounds. But the biggest ones can come in at 9,000 pounds. Or 4,082 kilograms for the non-Americans watching this. Hippos have a bite force of close to 2,000 pounds, strong enough to divide a crocodile in half. That is not an exaggeration, it's actually happened. And hippos are one of the most homicidal things to ever have a heartbeat. And for something that most people think is a vegetarian, I've seen them take antelopes off the census for no reason other than malicious intent. Not to mention every year they turn at least 500 people into a tiny section in a newspaper. Put it all together and you get a freight truck with an overbite and roid rage that could literally outrun Usain freaking Bolt and turn Simba into an orphan even faster. The only times you'll ever see a lion run a fade with a hippo is if the lion is starving and desperate, or if the hippo is injured, sick, or a light breeze away from becoming just a body. Other than that, a lion wanting smoke with a literal tank with teeth is just a Hannah Baker mission. Also, graphic warning, if you have a sensitive stomach, this is your cue to hide in the comments. This lion tried to test the hippo's hood and got her jaw snatched instead. And if you're a lion and you hunt other animals for a living, getting crippled by a hippo means you can go ahead and start house hunting for graves, because if you can't hunt, it's really up for you. Moral of this video: hippos are like STDs, nobody should be f***ing with them.
I mean, I knew hippos are fucking dangerous, right? Because of tier zoo videos, otherwise I wouldn't have known. I mean, I've always thought before reacting to all these animal videos, the hippos are, I don't know, big creatures, but not really deadly. Nobody sees them as fucking apex predator. But yeah, their bite is ridiculous. Their mouth is, they are really big. Their mouth opens wide, and they can be aggressive if they fucking want it. And the way they run for their size is threatening. Always think, their music should play. Hungry, hungry, hungry hippos, and then suddenly, music stops and hippo attacks something like lion or something. That would be an awesome video. Yeah, hippos are terrifying.
I'm officially
You know, that actually reminded me of a really messed up fact. You know the leopard seal, right? The op of happy feet? The biggest threat to a penguin's way of life. Ask them where they want to eat, they'll say Popeyes. Yes, they eat penguins, but we already knew that. But you want to know what else they eat? You'll never guess it. Seriously, I'll give you time to comment, but you won't get it. Apparently, leopard seals have been known to hunt and eat platypus. Yeah, the ones in Australia have been recorded catching and murking live-action parries. That is a crossover I am just not ready to deal with right now. Honestly, it's bad enough that this is probably the first time a lot of people are hearing that this thing's found in Australia. Some of these steroid seals end up wandering all the way up to Tasmania and Heron Island, which is an island in the southern part of the Great Barrier Reef. Which is how the leopard seal can end up in the same area code as this duck rabbit. Also, they can grow to 12 feet long, weigh 1,300 pounds, and one ended a person's life after mauling her and dragging her underwater. Leopard seals are a menace that nobody has the balls to really acknowledge. That wasn't edited, that's really what they sound like. This is a muntjac, but for obvious reasons most people know it as the barking deer. This barking Bambi is found in Asia in countries like India, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, and the forests of Indonesian islands. Muntjacs will scream when they're scared or to tell others.
I don't know why every time I hear something about this thing lives in India, I'm not always surprised, like I've seen all part of India or something. Like I'm Indian and India is so small, I've been everywhere. No, India is not small. And India is way too diverse, even for its size.
Deer where they are in case they lose them in a dense forest. It's like if you lost your mom at a store and just screamed like a banshee until she found you. They'll also stomp on the ground while barking in order to look more intimidating, which, probably would work if they weren't like 2 feet tall. But like any vertically challenged person,
this thing goes against the lion, stomps feet and bark. A lion is like, oh, isn't that cute? You're gonna die, Phil.
They overcompensate and this deer will cut you. Muntjacs have fangs sharp enough to shank anybody who underestimates just what a deer with short person complex can do. They've even been known to run fades with dogs and send them to the vet. Also, like surprisingly most deer, the muntjac isn't a herbivore. They'll eat grasses, herbs, and berries, but they'll also hunt and eat small animals and bird eggs. Also, fun fact, actually really, I don't know how this is possible fact, muntjac has less chromosomes than a fruit fly, with males having 7 and females having only 6. Friendly reminder, we have 46. So, we have a 2-foot-tall vampire of a deer that barks like Clifford, has less chromosomes than a fly, and the same attitude as any girl under 5 feet. This is nature's drunk text. This bird has a penis for a tongue, and I'm not even kidding. And it's all because of the way they eat. Flamingos filter out algae and shrimp from the water, and they do it upside down. They use their tongue to squeeze out the water and trap the food. But we found out while they do that, a bunch of erectile tissue in its mouth fills with blood and stiffens just like, well, you know. And apparently being bricked up in the mouth helps the flamingo keep its head stable as it sticks its beak in the water and eats upside down. All that erectile tissue sits at the bottom of its mouth and runs down both sides of its tongue. So whenever a flamingo eats, on command the blood rushes to the tissue and anchors the bird's head. It also makes the tongue harder than a man watching an Olympic long jump compilation on YouTube. We've all gotten those recommendeds, and we've all clicked on them. Moral of this video, flamingos are
A little bit what?
the bird's head. It also makes the tongue harder than a man watching an Olympic long jump compilation.
That has become a new thing, isn't it? Because suddenly it popped up in my homepage like, why you showing me that? I've never even clicked on any Olympic or sport video. And I'm like, of course I clicked on it. I clicked on there's always comments like that. Man of cultures, gather up.
Compilation on YouTube. We've all gotten those recommendeds, and we've all clicked on them. Moral of this video, flamingos
The
are
moral of the video is YouTube is like a god. Can change whatever you want to see or something just based on its mood. YouTube wants all you to be, I guess, watch some Olympic videos. Yeah, YouTube's gonna do that.
F***ing weird. Also, those aren't its knees. It's bending its ankles. There used to be a nearly 20-foot bulletproof serial killer whose victims included humans and hippos. Gustav was a Nile crocodile from Burundi, and scientists estimated that he was over 18 feet long and weighed well over 2,000 pounds. And with a bite force of 3,700 pounds, getting attacked by him was like getting assaulted by a sledgehammer with teeth. Because Gustav was too big to hunt the usual victims like zebra and antelope, he instead put wildebeest and yes, even hippos on t-shirts. He also likely resorted to cannibalism if he was ever low on groceries. And he didn't stop there, because this overgrown Bundy gecko allegedly had a body count of about 300 people. And apparently Gustav would tear his victim to pieces and not even eat the mutilated corpse. Bro was real life stat padding. And wouldn't you know, the bastard was bulletproof, since one of Gustav's defining traits was that he had 3 bullet scars on his body. But the scariest thing about him is how he would have gone about taking your life. Like all crocodiles and alligators, Gustav would have slowly creeped on you in the water with only his eyes visible. The rest of his body would be hidden in the murky water. Then he would have slammed his jaws on you with the force of a car, strong enough to tear muscle and break bone, and at this point...
But before that, as soon as it creeps on you and get closer, it will come out and scream, "Watch out, fool!" and then bite you.
You'd be 50 shades of with about 60 teeth buried into your flesh, 2,000-pound Gustav would
Yikes.
drag you underwater and death rolled you, and how long you lived would depend on where he got you. If he managed to get a hold of your arm, he would have effectively ripped it right out of the socket. If he got your midsection, he would have disemboweled you, meaning...
Oh man, you can't just show me that guy's jaw is fucked. Is that it? It has to be. The way crocodile spins, that spinning maneuver, they do, which also I found out in Tier Zoo video. I didn't know that shit either. What's funny thing is I'm playing Far Cry 6, and that amigo that is crocodile apparently does the same shit but not underwater, right? I mean, yeah, so the way it sometimes does the glitch or whatever, it does spinning movement, right, halfway in the air and just weird shit. Always laughed at it. I'm like, what the fuck? But now seeing this just made me realize, like, wait a minute, they don't have to be underwater or something like that. They can do the spinning movement outside too. Look at that shit. I always thought they can only do that shit underwater.
Your arm, he would have effectively ripped it right out of the socket. If he got your midsection, he would have disemboweled you, meaning if you didn't straight up drown, you would have bled out. And if you messed around and let him grab your neck, he would have barrel rolled your head off. Remember how I said he turned 300 people into hashtags? Considering how violently crocodiles kill their prey, it could be more, we just haven't found the bodies yet. Scientist Patrice Faye spent months trying to capture him, but somehow a nearly 20-foot assault weapon managed to avoid them every time. Gustav allegedly died in 2019, but we don't know how, why, or who did it, and we don't know how many lives he took with him. Here's a fact you didn't know you needed to hear. Some octopus will carry around...
Are we sure that it existed if nobody could find a photo or any evidence of it? Maybe it's one of the myths, right? I mean, is that if there is no photo of it, how do you know it exists? Just because people say it? People say a lot of shit.
A security coconut to use as extra protection. Octopus are one of the smartest things in the ocean, and some have the intelligence of a 3-year-old human. It's high-key crazy to think about. But they have no shell or armor, so some species will carry around 2 halves of a coconut to use as a travel-sized panic room to avoid predators or social interaction in general. This octopus has said nothing, yet somehow I completely understand. Some will even camp inside coconuts just so they can catch crabs slipping. You know, crabs really do be getting hoed by everyone. Might be funny to us, but that's low-key a messed up way to die. Coconuts aren't the only tools that these undersea aliens use. I remember this guy? That is the highly venomous man-o-war, which is toxic enough to put both fish and people in a pack. Which is why the blanket octopus will steal the venomous tentacles of the man-o-war to use as like a melee weapon to defend themselves. You know, if octopus lived longer than a year or two, they could probably do a lot of damage. Moral of this video: if you ever see an octopus carrying coconuts like it's luggage, you know why. No, we probably should be scared of how smart these guys are. This is Inky the octopus, and he used to live in an aquarium in New Zealand. And I say used to because Inky actually escaped by slipping out of his tank when no one was looking. Apparently he noticed a small gap at the top of his tank and Shawshanked his way out. Then he slithered across the floor until he found a 6-inch drain hole, which he, of course, managed to squeeze through. Fun fact, octopus have no bones or swim bladders, meaning a 600-pound octopus can fit through an opening the size of a quarter. Inky crawled to freedom through a 164-foot pipe of nastiness I don't even want to imagine. That's almost half the length of a football field until he reached the ocean. And nobody ever saw him again. The next day, workers noticed that the octopus was missing, and I like to think it went something like this. Only reason they even found out what happened was because Inky left a trail leading to the drain pipe, but when they searched it, he was gone. Bro watched that one scene from Finding Nemo and decided he had enough of the gimmicks. Now, I'm not saying we should be afraid of them, but you can't tell me this ain't some ET shit. I can personally guarantee you're not ready for how big this animal actually is.
I'm pretty sure there are animals out there that are really smart, like the way he saw an octopus here, and there could be anomalies among those animals that are even more smarter. But they're not going to be dangerous to us because of their physical limitations, right? But yeah, I don't know. When one of these days, I have this feeling that, in few thousand years, I guess there will be a species that close to human. Like, they'll be smart enough, they evolved enough to be smart enough, at least not, if not like us, basically, very close that will blur the line. Like, should we treat them as animals or like humans? I mean, are they smart? There would be confusion.
That is an Aldabra giant tortoise. The Aldabra part is because they're only found on islands on the Aldabra Atoll and Seychelles off the east coast of Africa. Giant part is because they're built like a freight train with legs. The biggest ones weigh well over 500 pounds.
That's real? That's a human? And what? How strong it is, man? Can it? I know, tortoises, turtles, whatever, are strong. They're stumpy legs and shit for their size. But if that's their size, I bet they must be strong, right?
And some wander into the neighborhood of my 600-pound life. This breathing tank eats mostly grasses, leaves, and woody plant stems. They've also been known to feed on the corpses of other dead tortoises because of course they do. Some even started learning how to catch and eat birds like the lesser naughty. To be fair, if you can literally fly but get game overed by a boulder with cankles, you kinda deserve it. This overgrown shell jockey is such a powerhouse that they basically have the same job as elephants. Because while looking for food, Aldabra tortoises will often knock over small trees and shrubs, creating pathways for small animals the same way elephants do. They basically never die. The oldest one was a tortoise named Adueta who allegedly lived to 255 years old.
They do live long.
Most people believe he was born in 1750, but nobody knows for sure because he just kept outliving the people taking care of him. Which means he was alive to witness some of the worst events in human history and said nothing, because if minding your business was a person, this would be his profile picture. A lot of y'all want to know how I know so much about animals.
That is so good. It's like, you think I'll live this long by opening my mouth? Obviously, I know there's a meme because there's a video of an old lady who's like 18, 90, I don't know, or maybe 100, something like that, really old, who basically says that, like, I keep my mouth shut. You think I'll live long enough to, by opening my mouth about every small shit here and there?
So why I care so much. So in honor of us hitting 10 million, here's 10 reasons why I am the way I am. For one, zoo books. 90s kids might remember this commercial.
Your child can visit steamy jungles, grassy plains,
and Google.
the dark depths of the ocean.
Yeah, I had them all. No, seriously, call me Ash. I really did catch them all. And fun fact, that one is the first one I ever got. Go figure. Number 2, this show was basically my Bible because I watched it religiously. I wasn't allowed to watch TV on weekdays, but since this was technically educational, I could get away with it. And if you watch this show and watch my videos, you can definitely see where I get a lot of it from. Number 3, this was the first game I've ever gotten. Basically, you just build a zoo, and for some reason 5-year-old me couldn't get enough of it. Also used to set the lions free and then watch them violate the guests, so yeah. I might have been a psychopath at one point. Number 4, I think I was like 7 when I got this book. I had like
Once a psychopath, always a psychopath. He's just hitting down there. One day it will emerge.
hundreds of animal books, but for some reason this one was my favorite. I actually lost it for like a year and a half in somebody's house in another state, and my 7-year-old mind did not know peace until I got it back. Number 5, this thing. Wonder if it still works.
Good day, mate. Press the animal button below to explore the world of endangered species.
It works.
Still works. Number 6, this was also one of my favorite games. Basically, you're a vet treating animals in a zoo, and I would honestly spend hours doing it. I couldn't tell my left from right, but I could tell you how to check for tuberculosis in a camel or how to treat diarrhea in a chimp. Number 7, you already know who this is. Number 8, I also got National Geographics for kids that I would get every month. Number 9, I once went to the Bronx Zoo when I was 4, and when I came back home, I told my mom I wanted to be a zookeeper when I grew up. And number 10, I really don't know. It's like, I didn't like animals because I had all those things. I had all those things because I already liked animals. I don't know where it came from. I would make these little animal books full of drawings when I was 3 years old, and I have no idea what made me do it. I think I was just a weird-ass kid, and some things just don't change. Thank you all for 10 million. I hope all your pillows are cold at night.
Yeah. We are so glad that he wasn't born in Nazi Germany and wasn't a German. Otherwise, he would have been Joseph Mengele for animals. I think there was a crazy scientist that is famous who experimented really badly on dogs or shit, right? Family Guy made a joke about it. I don't know. But he would have been that. Right, people, that was the biggest mistake a lion can make. I love how this video's first clip is the title of this video and everything else is completely different because who gives a fuck, right? Yeah. I mean, just like elephants, hippos could fuck lions up. But as a whole social structures, I think lions definitely are more dangerous because they hunt in packs, right? And they would technically take down hippos. But if, misfortune comes, there's just one lion versus a hippo, or maybe there are, pack of lions, but there are multiple hippos there, the results would be bad. Alright, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the Rick Sunday, there's a link in the description. Check out the cars, hopefully, and yeah, I'll see you next time.